Why some people close to you speak different languages? Have you ever asked this question? Why people around you got different color than you? Some of those people come from somewhere that was actually illegal. Because some of those people come from other continent. Some of those people come from another country. That's why they got different color than you. And there was some time where they were illegal. They just legalized themselves. That's why today they are citizens just like you.
The right to education, and we've seen that our schools are full, and South African citizens are battling to get their kids into school because the Constitution makes provision for immigrants, legal and illegal, to send their children to the nearest school. And also in the case of healthcare that you mentioned now, where our healthcare facilities are overrun, taking care of the needs of illegal immigrants. South Africa belongs to all of its citizens and legally represented people who have, South African residency or are here on legal immigration status. You need to clarify that, because if there is no clarification, it simply says that all the rights that are in the Bill of Rights apply to people who live in this country, whether they've come here legally or illegally. And we know that we have a massive problem with illegal immigration. You can go to any clinic and get health service and give birth, for example, in a hospital. You can go to any school close to where you live and send your children to that school, and they have to be admitted according to a constitutional court judgment. And you can claim emergency temporary housing accommodation, or even claim housing accommodation if you aren't a South African citizen. Now, we believe that that's way too generous. We can't afford that, because South Africa belongs to all who live in it. South Africa belongs to all of its citizens and all permanent residents and all legal immigrants.
Who is actually legal and which is illegal? Because we've actually followed the law. When we follow the law, and there's some people who need to implement the law, and the people who have to enforce the law. Whose fault if those people doesn't do their job? Because end of the day, if they don't know you, if you're not registered, if you commit a crime, no one will trace you in the country because you are illegal. So legalize yourself is actually good for yourself and good for the government, good for the country. If you are not legal, how will you be able to pay tax? Because you are not registered. Register yourself so that you can contribute for the economy of the country. Be legal in the country so that you can contribute to the economic of the country. You may want to legalize yourself, but if the government doesn't give you an opportunity to do so, how do you do that? The point I wanted to take here is that most of us was not legal, but they decide to legalize themselves. That's why you see in Europe there are some people who come from different continents, different countries. They even get in the country as a refugee, but at the end of the day, many years later, become a citizen of the country. If we have to ask questions that where we come from, we will realize that 100 years back, our parent or our grandparent come from somewhere. Maybe our parent or our grandparent come from somewhere. Just the fact that we legalize ourselves, we become either the citizen of the country or the permanent resident of the country or the refugee or temporary permanent of the country. And when we have that status, if we got that status, we can call ourselves legal in the country where we are. What is your status where you are? What is your status? Check your status, because you may be born in the country if you don't have your ID. If you are not registered anywhere, you are also illegal. You may be born in the same country and you don't have ID. You are not registered. That means you are illegal in your own birth country. You came to the country with a short period of stay as a visitor. When that period of stay passes and you did not go back home, you will become illegal. If you don't have a status in the country where you reside, you become illegal. Respect the law by legalize yourself. Respect the law by telling the country that you are here. Respect the period that have been given to you in that country. If that period is about to end, make sure you go and renew, because authority are there actually to renew. You just have to go to them and they'll tell you the requirement. When you meet the requirement, obviously they will renew your stay. Don't sit home, you'll be caught illegally in the country. That will not be good for you. You can see today people are complaining. You know, in America, in Europe, in Africa, there's always illegal immigrant. It's actually a permanent fight. You are visiting the country. It's actually the best way to legalize yourself. It's the best way. It's actually a benefit for you to legalize yourself. Otherwise, you're going to face a lot of stress. So the best way is to legalize yourself, to respect the time they give it to you in that country. But what I wanted to mention in this video is that, are we not foreigner, all of us? If you just check 100 years back, you will see that our grandparent or our great-grandparent actually come from another continent, from another country. That's why you see we have different races. There are some people living with me who doesn't have my color just because they come from another country. There are many people who got color different of mine just because they come from another continent. There's actually many people speak different language than me, living in the same country with me, just because they come from another country. But the difference between us, between me and those people, or between others, is just because they legalize themselves. It's because they legalize themselves according to the law of the country. That's what we say, there's an immigration law. If you follow the immigration law of the country where you belong or where you are residing, if you follow the law of the country of host, you'll finally find a way of legalize yourself. Don't sit home and say you are not legal. Don't sit home avoiding police. Go to the immigration and you'll get the proper information. Don't go to people who seem to be an agent. Go to the immigration. If it's South Africa, go to Home Affairs. Find out by yourself and you'll see how to legalize yourself. There are some people who ask for asylum and will be registered. You may be a married person. You may be having your child. There's a many way to legalize yourself. There's a many way to legalize yourself. It should be always good for you if you legalize yourself before you reside in that country. Ask yourself why in your country there's people who got different color than you. If there's a people who got different color than you in your country, surely they come from another country. So, if you speak different language, if you got different color, if you come from different places, make sure you legalize yourself. Someday, you will be like them and they'll call you a citizen. Go and legalize yourself.